I mentioned that before about the bus ride.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
I initially would allow people to film me doing it so that it would encourage others to do it.
Okay.
And then I stopped.
Okay.
Because God says don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he does, do what he says, and he can take care of what he tells you, because that also makes predators come, because then they go, oh yeah, she'll give the money, she'll get, and they do all kind of terrible things in the name of charity.
Right.
But that's very important.
It's very important. I was there in LA. I did the HAPA Awards, and we were staying downtown at the Biltmore. And I remember when I lived there, it was just Skid Row. Now Tent City is this whole community. It's this whole city with a whole new zip code, and you're on Google Maps. And that hurts my heart. How does that make you feel, seeing that you give back often to that?
I used to feel
Okay.
bad for the people.
Okay.
I did, and then I started to feel good for the people, because it's when you're in that state
Mm-hmm.
that God sends His Spirit to
Mhm.
work with you.
Right.
When you're at your lowest, and some of us were at their lowest, and they've lost their mind, that's when they find.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I hate to see a lot of the young people on drugs, and there's so many. I used to say Caucasian or white. So many. We have our drug problem in the hood,
Right.
but we kind of a working drug problem. But these guys are laid out, and then they flew in the Afghans. When they quit the
Mhm.
war, all of a sudden
Sure.
they flew they flew in a bunch of. They didn't realize that these people are addicts. A lot of the young people are addicts,
Mhm.
and where they were easily could get opiates and stuff like that
Mhm.
in their country, it's they can get leaves and chew them, whatever they do.
Right.
They come here, they have to use heroin,
That's it.
and they're also now you got 20-year-old young people from the Mid East
Mhm.
laying around in the streets. They're bleeding. I live downtown.
Okay.
I walked to the store
Mm-hmm.
and walked back in all the way from the store 3 blocks to my apartment
Mm-hmm.
in a footprints of blood.
Oh my
And
God.
I watched them all the way down. I'm like, wow, I've caught people on camera because I couldn't see, I couldn't understand,
Mm-hmm.
frozen in animation and about to walk,
Right.
and they so high. It's just it's some kind of new drug.
New drug. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have called 911 on at least 2 ODs,
Mm-hmm.
2 blocks from me,
Mm-hmm.
where the guy just lost all bodily fluids,
Mhm.
and they were weird color, and I'm like, oh my God, call 911, and his friend with him, he like, I'm like, what are y'all doing out here?
Right.
It's very hard, but like I said, sometimes you have to go through it to get to it.
That's it.
It's a apocalypse. We're living in an apocalypse,
Mhm.
and I talk about it because it simply means opening up the curtain.
Right.
We're living in a time where the truth is.
Is what
Everybody's gonna
written.
see it.
Yeah,
You're gonna know it's
sure.
the truth.
Mhm.
You gotta face it. You gotta live with it. And that's the only way we get through issues. Everybody's looking for God to do miracles, in what they're in their mind is a miracle. There is no miracle that is not hard, dry.
Right.
There is. That's
You
because
gotta do the work.
yeah, because God,
Mhm.
you're gonna ask God, how did He do that?
Right.
So He can go back and say, this and this equals that, and that's how God is. Everything is, you can find, it's hardwired. You can find out how it's made, what it's made of, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
That we're supposed to be curious about these things. We're supposed to
sure.
find this out.
Sure.
So, in living in your true life, you can't feel sorry
Okay.
when you see that. You have to feel happy because they are presented with an opportunity now to
Mhm.
face God solely as you
On a
are.
one-on-one.
Yeah, and
one-on-one.
he's standing there and sending spirit
Right.
to them.
Right.
So you
Right.
just look at that as that's where they are in their path right now.
And then you and I have both been there. Our journeys have been quite similar,
Mm-hmm.
for real. And to see where we are now, we have a certain compassion for that. But we also know what it was like to be that in a different kind of way,
Mhm.
and what it took to pull up.
My kids still talk about we were talking about last night, what we ate, how much fun we had being broke. That's like, because Nicholas always gets on interviews and says, my mom can make a meal out of $5. She can cook like, I can't believe it, but
Uh-huh.
but that was the same blessing that God did when He gave when Jesus or Joshua stood on the mountain and fed 5,000 people. It's the same blessing.
Yeah.
It's the same blessing.
Same thing.
It's $5 and it looks like it's a total big feast. It's the same blessing. It's the same God.
Same God. Yeah. I'm sitting here with Miki Howard. I'm Terri Stephenson, editor-in-chief, managing partner of Impact Atlanta Fashion and Beauty Magazine. And I'm here to say, for real, the sister is everything. When I say everything, I say everything.
So sweet.
So, Miki, we're going to be coming to a close, but before we do, I want to ask you a couple of more questions, if you don't mind, because we are women of a certain age, and we both know that road will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take it in strides, and you got to figure out what you should. Is it a city winery, or is it the Staples Center? Is that what it's called now in LA? I don't even know.
They changed it to the crypto.
Yeah. Oh, the crypto? Okay, so they're in the currency. So, nonetheless, you all know what I mean. And so, we don't want to work real hard. We want to work when we want to work, right? Because we know that it's a lot of wear and tear. What would you say to your fans that's looking for a career for what we knew back in the day, when we would record, put it out, let them distribute it, we'll sit back and get our publishing, and we work when we want to work. Now it's almost as that stuff is not there, we work because we have to work. Are you in that position to work because you have to work, or you work because you like to work, or you just enjoy doing what you do?
I think I've gotten to a comfortable level.
Okay, good.
I've always been the type of person, I'm going to do what I want to do. Period. I tell you, I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah,
in terms of, I don't get my first class like I would like. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And other people are on to riding and doing the private jet thing.
Yeah.
That's that. But as long as I'm happy and I'm like
mm-hmm.
doing what I feel is God's will, because I did my will.
Yeah.
I did my will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now this is God's will, and I can do it as long as He wants me to, as long as He gives it to me to do,
mm-hmm.
and I do it comfortably.
Okay.
They try to book me 4 days in a row. I'm like, I can't do that.
You can do it. Okay.
I cannot do it. I don't care how hungry I am.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I used to take the
Yeah.
And then I'll get there on the third day. I'm sounding like 10 cans, and all I get is the 10 can review. I'm like, okay. But y'all wasn't there the first 2 days.
First 2 days. When my pipe was really
was good.
Yeah, I was real good.
I heard Miki can't sing no more. I heard me good. I couldn't. I could not.
You said you really could not.
I could not.
Well, I have, like I said, I've seen you. I followed your career. Again, I'll say it one more time for the fans. I'm her, the biggest fan. I'm the #1 fan, y'all. Need to know that, okay? I've been following this lady since she was 17, right? And so I love you. So glad to see you. It is a blessing and an honor to even have you in our lives. And I think I can speak for the masses as a Black, strong woman that the industry, community, and the world tried to knock down. But you said, I shall not be moved.
Girl. I should not be moved.
I'll be back
with y'all.
Right, with y'all.
I learned. That was not my crowd.
Y'all out the way.
That's not my crowd. Let me catch up with my crowd, because this ain't it. That's what I learned. But I'm not one of y'all. I thought I was. But I'm not.
And still the comedian.
But it's true.
And I appreciate that. In closing, is there anything that you would like to say to our followers, our readers of Impact Atlanta magazine, just me or whoever?
I love you, Terri.
I love you too,
I'm
baby.
so happy for this opportunity.
Thank you.
And I hope that everybody, comes in, supports Impact magazine. We need this. They've tried to silence the voices of the mature women, and you need us in your lives because we've been through what you're going through. I know they see us now and they go, you know, ladies, whatever. But we was fine and young too.
We still fighting.
Yeah, we was like, I feel like I am too. You know,
We still
but they,
fighting.
you know, the younger people, you
Yeah.
need to listen to us.
Yeah.
You need to listen. You want to get here. You want to get here.
Right. Keep living, y'all. Keep living.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you once again. Thank you, viewers and listeners, for tuning in with us. We're speaking with, again, I'm going to say it one more time, the incomparable, the unsung, the fabulous, philanthropist, entertainer, stylist, mommy, grandmommy, phenomenal black, strong woman that she is, Miss Miki Howard. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Miki.
Thank you,
for stopping
Terri.
by and chatting with us.
It's been my
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. Okay, is that fan gonna be too loud for you? Because I really don't want to turn it off. Are you gonna be okay with
Yeah.
that? Okay, good. Okay. Well, we no SDI card. Excuse me. So we're gonna get started here because I don't want to hold you up, and it's hot. Okay, and it's hot.
It's recorded.
So, okay, good. I am here. One, let me just start by saying I'm Terri Stephenson. I'm the editor-in-chief, managing partner with Impact Atlanta Fashion and Beauty Magazine. And we had the great honor and privilege to have Miki on our April cover of the magazine. And it was such a pleasure
It's
and
nice.
an honor. That's yours. Hold on to it. Yeah, absolutely. And we're here today. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, Beechwood currently, but in Cleveland, Ohio,
Yeah.
to honor Miss Howard as being the incomparable, unsung, iconic, living legend, songstress, businesswoman, fashion guru, and someone that I met personally about 40 years ago at the Hollywood Palladium. She was singing with Side Effect. And, you know, our paths have crossed on several occasions. And I just want to say personally from my heart, I think I am your biggest fan. That's what I think. I think that I am your biggest fan. I have followed your career for the entire
Time out.
so many years back. And I just want to say that we are honored to interview with you today and to be a part of this auspicious occasion where you're going to be awarded tomorrow night with the 2022 Greatest R&B Legend Award. She is the honoree that's going to be receiving that. And Miki Howard, welcome to this session. I appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you, Terri, and it's certainly good to connect with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Miki, let's just jump into it. We know that you hail from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We all have seen your story.
Mm-hmm.
We all are fans, and we've watched the Miki Howard story. We also watched your story unsung. So there's a whole lot of stuff that we already know about you, and so we don't want to spend a whole lot of time going down that path, right? So we just want to talk about the new and what's coming and what we're doing right now. But before we do that, let me just ask you, what inspired you to make music?
Oh my gosh, it's just in my blood. You know, my parents, both my parents, mom and dad, were gospel singers. My mom in the Caravans, and my father the Pilgrim Jubilees. And the Pilgrim Jubilees were all brothers, so the whole family on my father, everybody.
Okay, we're talking about uncles.
Yeah,
Everybody.
And my mom, and it was just something that I just loved. And coming up during the 60s and 70s with Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
we had so many great influences. You know, Nina Simone,
Absolutely.
and oh God, it's just too many to name. Laura Lee. I mean, we had, you know, our genre of music was full
Mm-hmm.
with so many great artists. You know, Abby Lincoln.
Absolutely, very familiar.
I mean, oh gosh, Let's Bulu. I mean, we had so much.
So much.
You know,
so much.
and it was inspiring.
Inspiring. So let me ask you this, because me, from my personal place, I love all of the R&B, that R&B genre. But I know your heart's desire has always been jazz.
Yeah.
And so we've always related you to Billie Holiday. What is the inspiration with Billie Holiday's life and career as it correlates with yours?
Okay, it's something deep in my veins that when I, as a small child, saw and heard of Billie Holiday, and then Diana Ross made the movie, you know, and I first heard and saw her, I just connected, and the more I learned about her life, the more I loved her,
Right.
because I was raised in sort of an alternative lifestyle in terms of the church, and then a lot of gay. You know, my mom and them, they were all, you know, they had no inhibitions about it. So they were very strong women and very do what you want women, and you know, things like that. And that was how Billie Holiday was to me.
Right.
And even though people would say she did this, she did that, the more they said she did, the more I liked her, because it was I know now that it was the fact that she was against the bullshit.
Exactly, if you will. Yeah.
Excuse me for
No,
that.
no, it's okay. It was
You know,
bullshit, y'all.
and it's so odd because from her life and people like her, they get this thing of diva, and I get anti-diva.
Okay.
I think they're anti-divas, and I'm an anti-diva. I'm not a diva. I'm and this thing where you're a queen and we're all queens, and I'm not a queen. I'm a sister, and that's what we were then, you know, and that's what I got from Billie Holiday and stuff.
Right.
You know, if you chose to put someone on a pedestal, that's you. But don't put me on a pedestal. I'm a human being. I'm here. I'm an artist. I have to have life to put into my art. So yeah, I'm gonna get into things and fall into bad affairs, and you know, especially during your youth, and those are the things you sing about. And at that time, they were also singing a lot of things about civil rights, which was ingrained in me, because certainly coming from gospel, which they don't give credit to the churches, but the churches were very involved in the civil rights.
Absolutely.
And so that's the way I was raised. I was raised with a freedom. As far as being a woman, you do what you want.
Right.
Nobody tells you what to do,
Exactly.
and no man, you know, beats on you and all that stuff. And when I found myself in that kind of relationship, that's why I was like, oh.
And it was hard to embrace because you didn't understand what is that?
What
is this?
Yeah, it was total. Like, he smacked me, and I was like, "What? Why you keep hitting me? What's wrong with you?" I didn't, you know, it did not register. You know, I didn't know anything about that.
Anything about that. Never had that. Well, the interesting part about how you embrace that personality of Billie Holiday, when we watched you, I believe it was Mo Better Blues. Was that Mo Better or Spike Lee's?
It was
Malcolm X. It was Malcolm X. So it was Malcolm X, and for the generation that came after us that didn't really know anything about Billie Holiday, if someone saw you on the street, they would be talking about, isn't that Billie Holiday?
Yeah.
Do you get that often?
Well, let me tell you, the best time that ever happened to me, I mean, it happens a lot, but the very best time was Abby Lincoln.
Okay.
And my son came over, it was one summer, and I'm living in New Jersey, in Jersey City, and, you know, I'm like sort of off the beaten path, you know, it's just, you know, getting some life under my belt, you know, music wasn't popping like I wanted to, so I moved to Jersey City, and I was having a ball, you know, just, it was summertime, and all the kids were over, all they friends, everybody, we were just, you know, chilling, and my son, Brandon, the oldest, came over and said, "Mom, I'm gonna take you somewhere, I got some tickets for you." I was like, "Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna take you to see Abby Lincoln," and he knows she's my favorite.
Sure.
I'm like, what? So he took me to see Abby Lincoln at the Blue Note in New York. And I really wasn't dressed because it was all of a sudden I just had on like some summer stuff and like a weird ass hat. And after the show, I wanted to meet her. So they let me upstairs to her dressing room. And when I got to the door, she wasn't in her dressing room. She had gone to the restroom. So I'm standing outside her door, dressing room door, waiting for her. And she walks up with her people, and she comes up and she stops like in her tracks, and she goes, "You're one of us." I said, okay.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then she goes, "You look just like my friend Billie Holiday."
Exactly.
I thought you were her. And then she took my hand and she pulled me in the dressing room. And we spent the rest of the evening together, and we took pictures, and I looked crazy because I looked crazy that day. And it was just the best night of my life.
I was gonna say, but that had to have been like the pinnacle of all experience, especially with her being one of your favorite or your favorite
And she was
artists.
friends with
Okay,
She
yeah,
knew Billy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it just, it happens.
And speaking of looks, now you said you was looking crazy back then. You are absolutely stunning and fabulous, and I have to point that out. Who's your designer? Who's your stylist?
I am
Give them
my
some
stylist.
credit. She's her own stylist, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because the guys can put me in weird shit. I've always been that. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, because what I know of you, and even going back to the very beginning, back in the days, you've always set the pace and the tone of a trend. You know what I mean? And it was like, I remember years ago we came to see you down at, I believe it was Manhattan Beach, Don the Beachcomber.
Not the Beachcomber. You know, back in those days it was Shanghai or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was Hop Sings.
Hop Sings. And what she had on a pair of silk pajamas.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that was a class act and brave, because who does that? Besides Miki Howard. And she wore that. You own your look, your own style, and I have to point that out, seeing that we're a fashion and beauty magazine. You are a great representation of all of that. Fabulous.
Thank you. That's
Absolutely,
so nice.
absolutely.
Rihanna does it now.
Yeah, she does. But you know what? She came after you,
Yeah.
so she does it because
Rihanna
you did it.
does like a lot of outfits she wears. Oh my God, I wore that. In the 80s I wore that. Or in the 70s I wore that. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about your music, okay? Because we all have kind of grown up. I would say grown up because we were 16, 17, 18 back when you initially, I'm not going to say got started because it's always been in you, but to some
When
sort
you
of
get familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, what we heard was kind of like the bebop thing with Side Effect.
Right.
And then you went off to do the R&B thing, and then you dibbled and dabbled in some jazz and everything. So I want to ask you, describe the music that you typically create, because I remember you were on Monique and you did a tune, Beer for Breakfast. I said, now what in the world is she going with that? I need you to talk about what is your inspiration behind creating the music that you create.
Life.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, I guess I was in my 40s or like 40s when I wrote Beer for Breakfast. And it was during those times, like, you just like, you get up, the kids are going to school, they're going to graduate and going to college and everything. It's like, I don't have anything to do today. I have a beer, lay back down and watch TV, eat a cold chicken wing, I was into it. I was like, I did it, I was like, that. Those things are, I'm inspired by things that happen in life with other people's lives.
Right.
My friends or something tell me a story, I'll be like, girl, let me write that down.
Let me write that down.
I wrote my girlfriend a song called Fed Up. You ought to be fed up.
Fed up by now.
Yeah.
Fed up by now. So what does your creative process look like? Are you a pianist? Do you play piano, or you just write some lyrics? If you're a musician, how does that look?
It depends. Like if for my personal projects and it's a serious project and I'm getting paid from the record company and all of that, then I'm sitting at the piano and I'm going ting 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 ting,
trying to figure it
trying
out.
To write me something. When it's just like like some of the things I just do for social media or the internet. It's just something I got inspired to do right then. Like Fed Up was like, it's just something to do.
Exactly.
Something.
So let me ask you this, because again, I have to relate back to where it all started. And I remember, being in the recording studio and having live musicians and, selling the LPs, the wax, the CDs, and getting compensated, and all of that. And so times changed. The industry changed. It affected a lot of people, artists like yourself. So we reverted back to the internet, or we reverted to the internet. How do you think that the way that the music industry is being ran now, right now, as it related to what we did in the past? Do you miss that? Do you miss the live recordings and live musicians, or?
This is what I do.
Okay.
So all of my records are done like that.
Okay. Good.
You know,
Good.
Even the little garbage that I do here and there. You know, I don't want to call it garbage.
But y'all know what
you know
you're
what I'm saying? My little
Sure,
stuff, just to stay creative things. To keep your toe in the water.
Yeah.
I feel like the industry is, I don't understand the new people. The new people, they don't listen. You know, they negate the mature artists and they don't talk to us. We don't know anything. You know, and sometimes the mature artists, we bash the young artists, which is not right.
Right.
You know, because I did it too. I was guilty. I was like, oh, they're this, they're that. It's like,
right.
wait a minute.
Right.
That's wrong to do. Because whatever they've done to get to where they are, it wasn't easy.
Right.
First of all, especially if they're black. So we don't want, I don't do that anymore. Then there's some really, really fantastic young artists out there, and they're kind of arrogant. But you get that way when you're successful. Success make you have a little shake in your shoulder.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So you know, you okay? Okay, feel yourself, smell yourself. But my mom used to say everything that goes up must come down.
Well, speaking of great and fantastic artists that you just mentioned, Brandon is everything.
Oh,
I follow
my
him.
son.
I'm a fan. Caitlin is everything.
My daughter.
I follow her. I'm a fan of hers. And so now this is our new generation.
Yeah, but that's different.
You know what I mean? And so, but you have set such a standard, I have to believe, because I see it in their work, that they're perfectionists.
Yeah.
And I can say that I have been around you at some point in time throughout our travels. I think we were up in Oakland or somewhere. We stopped at the pier, got some pearls and everything. But
you remember that day?
I remember.
And I got all of those pearls, and like for all of my friends.
All your friends. We're sitting there cutting.
Every pearl I opened, every oyster I opened had a pearl.
Had a pearl.
About
had a
6
pearl.
of them.
So I'm saying that to say that from my own personal experience, you have been the most ultimate perfectionist, professional, loving, kind, real genuine person that you felt it in your heart. You took enough time to say, you know, my band did an excellent job. Y'all, I don't feel like just keep riding. Let's just stop and go play on the pier. And you did that. You know what I'm saying? And so that has to be, it brings tears to my eyes, because that was one of the most beautiful moments that I experienced with you as being this big mega recording artist that was kind enough in your heart to stop and say, let me love up on the people that assist in making me great. Yeah, exactly.
I love them.
So with that being said, what would you tell your fans moving forward about your music and how to maybe project or carry themselves in this industry, you with being a veteran?
I try. I don't know how much I am succeeding, because the world tells them one thing, and no matter what you tell them, just like the Son of God came and told people how to live, and how, and it doesn't say you're not gonna die.
Right.
It just, you know, it's saying your life will be better. And so I try to convey to the young people, it's better to do right and to keep your self-respect and to open your legs on your terms.
That's right.
And and you're not gonna get anything. You know, because it never stops. And you have a conversation with Cardi B. You have a conversation with Megan Thee Stallion, and see what they've given up to get what they got, and would they turn around if they could. That's right.
That's right. Now that's
have
real.
a conversation with them.
That's real, y'all.
You know, all the way to the top. Have a conversation with Puffy.
Yeah.
I wonder how, you know, he knows and seen things that he'll never be able to sleep the same.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right about that.
You know what I'm saying? It's not okay.
Did you care for some water?
I have some.
You have some.
My children, you know, and I try to teach them slow and steady.
Okay.
And you must have some life to put into your art, or you're no longer making art. You're in the business of the business.
Right.
And you're making a formula.
Right.
You know, and they say that there's a hit formula. Okay, yeah.
So are you? I'm sorry to cut you off. Are you enjoying where you are right now in your career? versus being tied to some sort of a record company or production deal or whatever the case may be. Being independent and being your own woman and your own boss and having the say so over
I'm
what you
always that.
create. And I know that, and that was what they couldn't handle.
They couldn't do it. It's like, you know, I've
They
never
couldn't
been
handle
told
that.
what to wear. I've never been told what to wear. I mean, once I cut my hair and they were like, "Oh my God!" So they
And I
colored
love
it
that
in on
style.
the picture.
Mhm.
I cut it off and dyed it blonde like 1990.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh no, 87 or something. And I got hired to be the spokesperson for Seagram's. And when they got the photos, they were like, "Oh my God, you changed your hair! You can't use these pictures!" I'm like, they colored my hair in like black, you know, what is it?
Yeah.
It's like, but no, you're not, and part of being an artist is changing. You change your personality has to grow. You meet so many people, how you gonna stay the same?
Right.
You know, and your wardrobe is it should be evolving. You know, with the times or how you're evolving, it should always reflect who you are. That's your calling card. When you walk in somewhere, somebody say, "Oh, well, she's a decent person. Oh, she's an interesting person. Oh, she's sexy." You know, they're gonna think something.
Of course,
When they first see
so
you.
first impression, absolutely. What about the way that you create and now handle your career? And I know that you're totally in charge because they messed that up. What they lost in you, that's their loss because it gave you everything that you needed to be that strong woman that you are right now here today. How you feel about that?
I really feel happy.
Good.
I'm like good with it. And I do a lot. I do everything. And it's, to me, it's just natural. But to other people, if you say, "Oh, well, who's this or that?" I manage me.
Yeah.
I do this, I do that. I give the instruction and stuff. Because if people tell you to do things that make you unhappy, things that are not in your path,
Right.
and they take you off your path, and the minute you're off your path, and you're like, "This is not my path. I don't know what the fuck to do," and then they talk shit about you. You know,
Right, exactly.
"Oh, she's you fell off. If I fall off, I fall off on my own."
Oh, that's right. That's
Okay,
right.
there's no falling off at this point. It's either enjoy yourself or you don't enjoy yourself. Go home and do something
Do
else.
something else, and that's exactly the key there because we've seen the ups and downs of the industry, and what one says is a fall off is not necessarily a fall off for here.
If you let me interrupt you,
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
this is one of the greatest lessons of my life.
Okay.
All that I want to be like, I want to do so. I should be the biggest. I'm supposed to be number one. Wine or die a pop star. I didn't cross over back then. They was talking about crossing over.
Yeah.
But you know, you hear different stuff. You know, different ones squeak about it. You know, my thing that I learned was to let God lead your way.
Exactly.
Let His will be done. Because had my will been done, I would have been dead.
Okay.
I would have been dead.
Okay.
As you know, we have lost. I'm sitting here in Cleveland. I don't come here often because I miss the family.
They were
like
loved ones. Yeah,
they were
ones you
loved.
love.
Every, you know, now they're all gone. The aunts are gone.
Yeah.
Gerald and Shine are gone. So it's really kind of difficult to be here in Cleveland. But I would have been gone too.
Yeah, and I can relate with that because Cleveland is my home. This is my home, born and raised. And then I moved out to LA in 78. And it's very difficult for me to come home because, you know, I don't have a family home to go to. My sister is here. You know, she's my sister in love. And I go to her home, I stay with her, but I don't have like a family here.
Right.
And so it's very difficult because everybody that I loved is no longer, you know, and so I can just imagine how you feel. And I'm only relating this to, of course, I went back as I started beginning. Know the story. We've seen the story, one that you produced. And let's segue there. What was that like, producing your own and creating your own story about your own life? What was that like?
I enjoyed it. I really did. And the woman, Christine Swanson, who's the director, is one of my dearest friends now. She was so sensitive to my concerns and what I wanted, because they had written several scripts that were And I said yeah to all of them. I'm like, yeah, that's good because I figure we'll fix it later.
We'll fix it later.
You know, and I'm also thinking God got it because they didn't even know why they wanted to make a movie.
I got you.
God just did it.
Just did
But
it.
one day, I was like, I'm done. I moved to New Jersey again and to Newark, and I had this beautiful, huge loft apartment. I was so cool. I'm like, I'm gonna do my grown ass sex.
Yeah.
And my little grandson, he had just, he's like 2,
Who's
3.
absolutely precious.
And I was having fun,
Because he was in the movie.
Yeah, he was.
I thought I
He's
recognized
amazing.
him.
And and so we were just riding the trucks around, acting a fool, and then the kids came and they visited, and then one kid whose mother, was in charge of this thing, and they like, well, who should we do? And the kid says, do Miki Howard, because he used to stay in my house, because I'm a kid, I was the kid place. Everybody,
Right.
my kids wasn't going to stay with nobody.
That's right.
But they could come, their other kids could come, and then certainly there were other artists, kids, and producers and stuff like that. Their kids were with me.
Yes.
Most of the time. And so one of the children was like his mother was the producer. I mean, worked at the TV
on the set.
And he's like, I can't get in touch with her. He said, can we get in touch with her? I can't get in touch with her. And he called me up. He said, Auntie Miki, my mom wants to talk to you. I was like, okay. About, this thing. And it's like, yeah. They got on the phone. Like, yeah, we want to do it. I'm like, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back.
They pulled you back in. But that's all good, because one thing that anyone that saw that, whether they knew you or not, you were very transparent. You spoke about every dynamic that we as Black women run across at some point in our life. And something that you said at the beginning of this interview is that I'm a human being. I'm a person. Y'all got me way up here and you didn't give me room to fail. But making that movie, I feel, gave you courage to heal.
Oh.
So I commend you immensely on what you gave to us as Black women, especially Black women in the industry, how much jump we take just to be in the industry.
And I left some stuff out.
Okay.
I left some stuff out. Because and when we were doing this, they hadn't done the Me Too and all of that.
Okay.
And even when we did Unsung, I kept telling the producers, I said, no, I suffered a lot of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And I really want to talk. Oh, we won't talk about that. I said, oh, what about the colorism? We won't talk about that. I've heard them sit at the table and call me a nigga bitch.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
In those days were like, pop or urban or art.
Sure.
And they keep putting me R&B.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we couldn't even talk to the pop department. Because if the R&B department heard about it, then they ask you all together.
During that time, it was Sherelle and Whitney Houston and Malisa Morgan and Anita Baker, and so it was difficult. In that arena with so many powerful vocalists.
They had a diamond.
Okay.
And they played me like a ruby.
Okay.
Okay. All Jews are great.
Yeah.
They're great.
They are.
But if you set a ruby like a diamond, it's really nice, but it's not great. It's not as good as if you set that diamond in that set.
That's right.
That's right. So that's them.
Okay.
God had something better for me.
That's right. And so with that being said, that is them. And what's better for you? What you working on?
Oh, girl.
What you working on now?
Well, I'm working on my Abby Lincoln tribute record. It's just a labor of love. I really
Okay,
like.
good.
And I feel her like all the time, like she's my mother spirit, like like do a great job, but do you?
Well, she's somebody that's been resonated in your spirit. Almost your whole
Yeah, I can
life.
hear her in my head, in my heart, and through this project. And this is a labor of love project. And working on my grandkids and my the COVID. One of my granddaughters lost her mother to COVID, and she was 16.
Oh no!
And now she's 18, and her prom is today.
Oh, okay.
And I've been getting messages. Did I get a package, G-Ma? Because you get the packages.
Exactly.
I said, yeah, they said they deliver.
So you're here. Where are you stationed now? Are you in LA?
LA for temporary. Because when the COVID, because I didn't believe my children knew how serious it
It
was.
was, okay.
And we were there when AIDS and HIV, that virus hit. And also the bird flu. And all my family either was...
You said the bird flu?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All my family was either nurses or entertainers. And when I heard that pandemic word, I was like, oh, let me get together.
Get it together.
Because with these children, because it's about to be a mess. And it was.
Right.
It was a mess. We lost, like I said, my granddaughter's mother. So I ended up having my granddaughter, which put me in a mother position with a teenager.
Okay.
Again, right? And I'm like, I haven't even seen a tampon in my house in who knows when. I'm like, what the hell? I gotta order boxes.
What is this?
Don't keep coming on. I need to get some. You know, I was like, girl, order a box of that shit. You gonna use it the rest of your life. You know, me and Amazon became extremely close. It's like at this, 16-year-old, she's got double D boobs. Like, now we gotta order bras. Now, what are you surprised, girl? You can't keep going to school with no bras.
Well, thank God that you are here for her.
But that's
and that's really the beauty of it all. And I think that, even through our journeys and what we do in our walk in life, what we have learned and what we have to give to our babies, our offsprings, is so essential. And you're a philanthropist, because I have seen you down there in LA, gathering up these